So moving with the chapter now, the locomotion and reproduction in protozoa. In introduction, what we said, locomotion means the movement of organism from one place to the another place. So who influence the locomotion? External stimuli. That means external stimuli are going to influence the locomotion. Internal stimuli are also going to be. So that means locomotion influenced by both external stimuli as well as stimulation from the internal side. So animals exhibit locomotory movements like walking, running, climbing, crawling, flying. So the various kinds of locomotory movements are present like this walking, running, climbing, then crawling, then flying. There are all various kinds of locomotory movements we see. Then in different animals, different types of locomotory structures are present. The different animals are having different types of locomotory structures. So these structures are also useful for the food collection. All these structures are also going to be useful for food collection. Then let's take some example like protists such as amoeba. We have some confusion throughout the chapter here. Sometimes we say protozoa, sometimes we say protist. According to some classification, that phylum protozoa we use it to say, but the modern classification saying the protozoa is not phylum, that is kingdom protista. So that's why sometimes it will come protist, sometimes it will come protozoa. Classification matters. Now we can say exactly what we have to say, sir. For neat examination point of view, you should consider that protist, kingdom protist, unicellular protozoans are considered as belongs to the kingdom protista. Okay, let's take one example, protists such as amoeba and paramecium. So in all that, what we say that locomotory organelles are present, different types of locomotory organelles are present. Then that thing to be considered that all locomotions are movements, but all movements are not locomotion. Maybe all locomotions are movements, but all movements cannot be locomotions. Okay, so all the locomotions are movements, but all movements are not locomotions. That we need to remember. Okay, so you see, this is the shaking hands you can see in the particular video. Can you call it as locomotion? No, it's a movement, that's all. Just a movement. So then what is locomotion? Remember the definition back again. The movement of organism from one place to the another place. We say locomotion. Movement of organism from one place to the another place is called locomotion. Okay, so camel is moving from one place to the another place. So it is a movement occurring in the whole body of animals, taking it from one place to the another place. Movement occurring in the whole body of animal, taking it from one place to another place, only can be termed as locomotion. Okay, so let's take some questions here. Which of the following is a unique feature of most of the animals? Locomotion, respiration, elimination, photosynthesis. What we said, our topic is itself locomotion. The locomotion is stimulated by external stimuli or internal stimuli or both or none. Yes, both external stimuli and internal stimuli are going to influence the locomotion. The movement from one place to the another place of an organism is called as movement from one place to the another place of an organism is called as locomotion. Which of the following is helpful for locomotion in protozoa? Forelimbs, flagella, hind limbs, wings. Now we are entering into the topic actually that our answer is flagella. Okay, then let's enter into the second module here. We'll go to the second module. Okay, module 2, we're talking about, in this module, we're going to learn about the introduction set to. If you see here, an offspring will grow and mature in the form of adult, and then it produce offsprings again. An offspring will grow and mature into adult, and that adult produce again offsprings, isn't it? So, in that we say the biological process in which an organism give rise to young ones similar to itself for the continuation of its race is called reproduction. Reproduction is a biological process in which an organism gives rise to young ones similar to itself for continuation of its race. What do you call reproduction? That generation is a continuity of species from one generation to another generation. Because of reproduction, there is a continuity of species from one generation to another generation. The organism's habitat, its internal physiology, and other factors are responsible for its mode of reproduction. The habitat of organism, internal physiology of organism, and some other factors are going to be responsible for its mode of reproduction. So this chapter, in this particular chapter, that about locomotion and about reproduction, we are going to discuss about locomotion as well as reproduction. Okay. So then it is of two types in general. What do you say? Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. The division of parent into daughter individuals. We say asexual reproduction. One parent is dividing into two daughter individuals. Reproduction here without the fusion of pronuclei in case of asexual reproduction. But in sexual reproduction, you can see that male and female gametes are going to fuse each other. It's a union of haploid male and female gamete. There you can see that male and female gametic nuclei are fusing each other. That you say that as sexual reproduction. The fusion of male and female gametes takes place to produce the diploid zygote, which develops into new organisms. Okay, let's continue. That union of haploid male and female gametes is called sexual reproduction, budding, encystment. So, what is this? Sexual reproduction, union of haploid male and female gametes. Reproduction without fusion of pronuclei. Without fusion of pronuclei, that means asexual reproduction. That's it. Let's go to the next module. We'll move into the next module here. So, in this module, we're going to learn about the locomotion and reproduction in Protozoa set 1. That the chapter is, the name of the chapter is Locomotion and Reproduction in Protozoa. What are the characteristics of protozoans? They are unicellular, isn't it? Single-celled organisms they are. Whatever you take, amoeba, euglena, paramecium. Nucleus may be one or more. You may see in amoeba one nucleus and more nucleus in case of paramecium. Eukaryotic organism, that means nuclear membrane is present. Then mostly microscopic, that means you can't see them with naked eye. Maybe free living or parasitic. There may be free living or parasitic. Versatile in locomotion. They are going to be versatile in locomotion. So the protoplasm in them is divided into outer ectoplasm and inner endoplasm. Any protozoan you take over, the protoplasm is divided into outer ectoplasm, inner endoplasm. That endoplasm will have the nucleus, maybe both two nuclei like paramecium, having macronucleus and micronucleus. So they are enclosed by a cell membrane. In a few species, the cells are surrounded by shell like Elphidium. That all that will come one after another in the chapter. Just we are giving a briefing in that what are the common features you'll find in them. Contractile vacuoles may be present here. They are just like our kidneys. They are doing a osmoregulation process that remove the excess water from the body. We say osmoregulation. Food vacuoles are present. Food vacuoles, which are used for digestion. That few examples, let's take some examples here that like protozoans, what do you see in the picture? That is amoeba, is well known, isn't it? Amoeba, Proteus. The interesting thing here, these are called cule. Like amoeba, Proteus commonly called Proteus animalcule. Paramecium is commonly called slipper animalcule. Euglena is commonly called spindle animalcule. So why these are called cule? Cule means Greek goddess. So why they are named on the name of Greek goddess? Why we are saying they are god or goddess particle? That will come in the coming classes. Trypanosoma gambiense. It's a parasite actually, Trypanosoma gambiense. That Euglena viridis that you can see on the diagram, Euglena. All these are the protozoans, participants of our chapter. Paramecium, the slipper animalcule we say. Verticella, Chlamydomonas, Plasmodium vivax. You may know this as benign tertian malaria. It's going to cause the malaria. Let me show you that all examples one after another. Some of the participants of our story, locomotion, reproduction, and protozoa. Amoeba Proteus, Trypanosoma gambiense, Euglena viridis, Paramecium caudatum, Verticella, Chlamydomonas, Plasmodium vivax, malaria it's going to cause. So what do you call ectoplasm and endoplasm are formed from? Ectoplasm and endoplasm are formed from protoplasm. Food vacuoles in protozoans are used for digestion. That's it. Now let's move into the third module number 4. Let me open the module number 4. So in this some introduction more that the free living aquatic protozoans move through the water, whereas parasitic forms are going to move through the body fluids of their host. Free living aquatic protozoans are moving through the water, whereas the parasitic forms are moving through the body fluids of their host. Many protozoans move independently by cellular extension, like pseudopodia, cilia, and flagella. These are the major locomotory organelles of the protozoans we have to mean. And additional locomotory organelles present in some protozoans, we say that as myoneins. Contractile fibrils also present in some parasites like our Plasmodium vivax. So then locomotion basically classified into 3 types of locomotion. Amoeboid locomotion, which is performed by pseudopodia containing organism. Ciliary locomotion performed by cilia containing organism. That flagellary locomotion by animals with flagella. So what is this? Paramecium. You may see that 10,000 to 14,000 cilia are present in the paramecium. You can see along the length of the body that cilia are present here in the paramecium. Now amoeba. What are the locomotory organelles of amoeba? Pseudopodia are going to be the locomotory organelles of amoeba. You may know that amoeba is shapeless organism. Flagella. Flagella is the locomotory organelle of Euglena. We'll take one after another. The first of all, amoeboid locomotion. Amoeboid locomotion is by pseudopodia. Then example itself, amoeba proteus, amoeba. So that flagella and cilia are showing locomotion, that their type of locomotion can be called swimming type of locomotion. That particularly pseudopodia we say amoeboid locomotion. Both flagella and cilia collectively showing a swimming type of locomotion. Details will come in the chapter. We know that cilia are present in paramecium and flagella is present in euglena. Gliding locomotion is performed by myonemes. Myonemes perform the gliding locomotion. Like our euglena is also having that particular myoneme. Euglena also having flagella, but additional accessory locomotory organelle we see. That paramecium is also having that particular myonemes. Plasmodium is one of the best example we see. Let's talk about pseudopodia today. What is meant by pseudopodia? Pseudo means false. Poda means food. That means these are the temporary extensions of the cytoplasm that develops in the direction of movement. Temporary extensions of the cytoplasm that develops in the direction of movement. We say pseudopodia. These structures are useful to move. Okay. Well, the screen payment. I think you lost the screen, I think, isn't it? No, no matter. I'm doing this back again for you. So we lost the screen. Okay, I'm watching actually another phone. I am watching that. If I lost screen, if anything, this kind of issue happened, okay, no matter. I'll cover, but you people can see that whatever the problem will come, just unmute yourself and you can say back again. Okay, so talking about all these particular tissues here, uh, just discussed all these particular issues. Now moving on to the particular pseudopodia. What is pseudopodia? We came up to here. The temporary extensions of the cytoplasm that develops in the direction of movement, we say pseudopodia. So these structures are useful to move on substratum, like as our legs do. Hence we call it as pseudopodia. What is pseudo? False. Poda means the food, feed. Generally, many pseudopodia arise from the surface of the body, and the condition is called as polypodial. Poly means many, poda means food. You can take one of the best example, our amoeba. Polypodial, that means many pseudopodia are present. In some individuals, single pseudopodium develops from the surface of the cell body. What do you call such condition as? Monopodial. Monopodial. That means single pseudopodia. You can see in case of Entamoeba histolytica, it is having only one pseudopodia. So, two definitions we learned today: monopodial and polypodial. What is polypodial? Poly means many, poda means food. That means polypodial. Many food are present. Many pseudopodia are present. We say polypodial. Amoeba proteus is an example. If having only one pseudopodium, which developed from the surface of the cell body, what do you call such condition as monopodial? Example, Entamoeba histolytica. It's a parasite actually. We have a detailed description of the Entamoeba histolytica in a biology in human welfare chapter. So then Pseudopodia belongs to the superclass Sarcodina. Sarcodines means pseudopodium containing organisms. In the superclass Sarcodina, that class Rhizopodia is having that kind of pseudopodia. The few mastigophores are also having pseudopodia. Who is called mastigophore? Flagella containing organism. They also may have pseudopodia. So class Rhizopodia, class Actinopodia are having this particular pseudopodia. A special organism we are talking about, mastigamoeba, just for general knowledge sake. A mastigamoeba is having both flagella as well as pseudopodium. The chief functions of pseudopodia: locomotion and capture of prey. Locomotion and capture of prey. Pseudopodia have distinct appearances. Based on their structure and form, the pseudopodia are classified into 4 types: Lobopodia, Filopodia, Reticulopodia, and Axopodia type of pseudopodia we can see. Okay, Lobopodia, Filopodia, and Reticulopodia. Then Axopodia, 4 types of pseudopodia that you need to pronounce yourself also, because all these words are very new for you. Lobopodia, Filopodia, Reticulopodia, and Axopodia. Okay, so let's talk about this particular type of pseudopodia one after another today. Then before that, let me close this. Amoeboid locomotion by pseudopodia is present in Euglena, Paramecium, Plasmodium, amoeba. What's the answer for it? That amoeba. Example for monopodial type of pseudopodium: Entamoeba histolytica and Euglena, Verticella, Chlamydomonas. What is our answer? That Entamoeba histolytica. One of the types of pseudopodia is, as we said now, 4 types of pseudopodia. In the given options, the Filopodia is going to be answered, isn't it? That's it. What we do it now, that we'll make some notes for this particular aspect, some notes for this particular. So first of all, based on the number, what do you call about monopodial? Example, single pseudopodia. Presence of single pseudopodia, we say monopodial, single pseudopodia. Let me write the total here, that single pseudopodium is present. So single pseudopodium, if present, what do you say it as? Monopodial. Example we have that Entamoeba histolytica. Entamoeba histolytica. Okay, so let's make it little bit wider. It will come on one line. Next, in the same way, polypodial. Polypodial type of pseudopodia. Many pseudopodia if present, we say many pseudopodium. Pseudopodium is singular. Pseudopodia plural. Many pseudopodia are present, that we call such condition as polypodial. And example what we are seeing here, amoeba proteus. Amoeba proteus is the example. Okay. So the same way, based on the form and size, we say we classified the pseudopodia into 4 types based on the form, formation, simply we say formation. The pseudopodia are 4 types. Based on the formation, pseudopodia are 4 types. Okay. Number 1, Lobopodia. Lobopodia. In this type of pseudopodia, we can see blunt, finger-like pseudopodia are present. Pseudopodia are blunt, finger-like. Okay, so examples. What are the examples here? Amoeba proteus and Entamoeba histolytica. Amoeba proteus, Entamoeba histolytica. So to be remembered that blunt, finger-like pseudopodia and Amoeba proteus, Entamoeba histolytica. Okay, next, the second type of pseudopodia, reticulopodia type of pseudopodia. Okay, so here, how the pseudopodia are present? Net-like pseudopodia. We can say the pseudopodia are net-like. Examples for this, Elphidium, pronunciation is very important in this case. Elphidium and Globigerina. Elphidium and Globigerina. Next, the third type of pseudopodia are Philopodia type of pseudopodia. Here, the pseudopodia are look like branching. So, branching pseudopodia we can see. So, example for this, Philopodia Euglypha and Lecithium. Don't be confused with Euglena. Euglena is different. Okay, next, the fourth type, Axopodia. Here in this case, the pseudopodia are ray-like pseudopodia. So what are the examples here? Actinophrys and Actinosphaerium. Actinosphaerium. Okay, so these are all said to be that 4 types of pseudopodia. Based on the formation, pseudopodia are 4 types: Lobopodia, Reticulopodia, Axopodia, and Philopodia. So the Lobopodia type of pseudopodia, we said blunt finger-like pseudopodia. Lobopodia are blunt finger-like pseudopodia. Example, Amoeba proteus and Entamoeba histolytica. Reticulopodia, net-like pseudopodia. Elphidium and Globigerina. Then Philopodia, branching pseudopodia. Example, Euglypha and Lecithium. Axopodia, the ray-like pseudopodia. Actinophrys and Actinosphaerium. These are all about the 4 types of pseudopodia. Okay, and based on the number we classified it back again into that 4 types, the 2 types. What do you say? Monopodial and polypodial, isn't it? The monopodial and polypodial. What is monopodial? Number of pseudopodium are single, we say monopodial. Example, Entamoeba histolytica. Polypodial, many pseudopodia are present, that we say Amoeba proteus is an example for polypodial. Okay, so we continue with the chapter in the coming classes here. Okay, thank you.